Hey guys, so now we're going to go ahead and work on the boost. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my sprite for it. I'm going to go into costumes. It's going to be similar to our health one that we created. So we can't change the shape of the outside. We can't change the size of it. But what you can change is the color, and you can add details around it and also behind it as well. If you really want to, that's perfectly fine. Once you go ahead and finish working on that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the inside. For this one, we are going to change the color. Again, for me, the original game was a green color, so if you want to change it to that, you can. Again, green doesn't make sense because a lot of my stuff is already green, so it's probably going to be very difficult to see. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to a different color, and I'm going to choose an orange color. Okay. So now that I have my colors chosen, I'm going to do the similar process as I did with my health sprite. So I'm going to go onto my player, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go into my boost and paste it. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it to a size that will fit it perfectly. Okay. So that looks good. And then I'm going to repeat the process again. So I'm using my paint bucket tool, using my fill, clicking on the original color, making a darker version, which I'm going to go ahead and change all the different pieces to. And then I just so happen to have one that's a little bit darker. Okay. So this is exactly how I want it to look. Now the difference is, because this has to be a boost, we need to be able to tell the player that this is for them to move. So this is where I'm going to use my my line tool. I'm going to go ahead and make the thickness 3. And I'm going to choose the same color as the original player. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to draw lines for my butterfly to kind of signal that it's moving, so it's kind of flapping its wings. So you guys can do this any way you guys want to. The original game, it had a fish with a couple of bubbles by the tail to kind of show that it's moving. So there's a lot of different ways to show that it's moving. If you really want to, you can also have an arrow if that helps. But any way that you guys want to go ahead and make this, you guys can. Now, just in case, you guys don't have to do this part, but for those of you who, for example, may have had, let me pick something a little bit easier. So let's say you guys had an actual picture that you guys actually chose from online, and that's what you're actually using to create your character, and you're not able to actually do this, which anyone who did it on Scratch is able to do, which is just change the color. What you can do instead is you can try and use the shape tool that closely resembles the kind of image that you have. You can go ahead and use that shape to begin with, and then you can use the reshape tool to shape it more. So you can see I'm going to add a dot here, and I'm just slowly moving different pieces of these dots until I get the shape that I want. You can also go ahead and delete dots as you need to. You can go ahead and change them to pointed and then curved to kind of help it along. Okay. And you can see how I'm slowly building this apple that I had that wasn't initially the way I started off with. Okay. And was able to make the shape for it. So in case some of you guys use an actual full image or you're not able to do that first part, that's another way that you guys can go ahead and do it, unless you guys want to maybe make a different icon. But other than that, once you guys are done, we're going to move on to coding.